Welcome to the Garden Shop How to Garden video. In this video we want to show you the process involved in crop rotation. Now firstly, to explain what is crop rotation. Well, crop rotation is a process of alternating the location of your vegetables within your vegetable garden over a 4-year or 6-year cycle. So what I mean by that is, choosing a section of your vegetable garden, you will only grow one type of crop in that location over a 4 to 6 year period. Okay, so now the reason for crop rotation, well, there are a number of benefits of crop rotation. Firstly, we do crop rotation to prevent the depletion of nutrients from the soil. Now what we mean by that is brassicas, which you can just see here in front of me. These crops are very hungry feeders, and if you continue to grow brassicas or cabbages and broccolis in the same location year after year, they will deplete nutrients such as nitrogen from the soil. Therefore, each year we move the location of our brassicas around our vegetable garden to prevent the depletion of nutrients. So that's one reason why we rotate our crops. Another reason why we rotate our crops is to add nutrients to the soil. Now, the legume family of vegetables, which includes peas and beans, these actually add nutrients to the soil, such as nitrogen. The legume family are considered what's called nitrogen fixers, and that means that they take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into available nitrogen. And nitrogen is a very important plant element that plants require for the development of foliage. And as you may know, that brassicas themselves require a large amount of nitrogen to develop their green foliage. So therefore, if we grow peas in one part of our vegetable garden, after the peas have grown and cropped, they will have in fact added nutrients to our soil. So each year we rotate the position of our legume crops to add nutrients to our soil. And then the third and probably most valid reason for rotating our crops is to prevent the build-up of pests and disease in the soil. One obvious example of that is potato blight, which affects obviously our potato crops. If we continue to grow potatoes in the same location year after year, the build-up of Phytophthora, of potato blight in the soil, will lead to continued attacks of potato blight year after year. Another example of a crop that sits in the soil, or a pest that sits in the soil, would be club rot, or club root, which affects our brassicas. Now if we again grow brassicas and in fact turnips in the same location year after year, they will continue to be affected by that same disease. And this also applies for carrots and carrot fly. You require to rotate your carrot crops to prevent continuous attacks of the carrot fly pest. So that's the reasons for our crop rotation. Now the process involves, well, basically if you see our vegetable patch behind us here, it's been divided into 4 different sections. We have here in this first patch, which is the bear's location. This year we intend on growing our onion family in this location. So what I should explain first is that you can divide your vegetables into 4 or 6 groups. For simplification, we'll divide it into 4 groups, and that is the onion family, and all of the onion family should be grown together. Onion family would include onions, shallots, leeks and garlic and spring onions. So you would grow all them in the same location each year and then locate them to the next spot in the second year. The second family is the brassica family, and you can see in our patch here that we have a section just divided out for our brassicas. And in the brassica family you would have cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli and turnip would also in fact be in the brassica family. Then we have another section further down, and we could have in this third section our legume family, and the legumes is the peas and broad beans, as these are the nitrogen fixers. And then the further bed away, the final section could be for our root crops, and root crops is anything that we harvest for its root: potatoes, carrots, parsnips and beetroot. So that's a simplification of the process of crop rotation. Now if you see here in our first plot that we have, at this present time there's nothing growing in it. This is, as I said, going to be our onion crop in year 1. In year 2 we will not grow onions in this location, but instead we will grow onions in our second plot right here. The brassicas will then be moved into our third plot, right here, and the legume family will be moved from our third plot down into our fourth plot. You will continue this process over a 4-year period, and then you will find that you're back again after the 4 years with your onions back in the first plot. Therefore, over the 4-year period, the onions will only have been in this location once in those 4 years. Now, this is the general guidelines. It's something that's very difficult to stick to religiously, as you can see why that is if you look at our very end plot, which is for our root crops. It's quite a bit larger than our first plot here, which we were going to grow onions. So something that is very difficult to get spot on, but as a general rule of thumb, you should never grow the same crop in the same place in a 2-year period. So that's a simple explanation for crop rotation and a video from the garden shop that I